Images of the Bloody Sunday March 56 years ago over the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama, a landmark day in the civil rights movement for African Americans. That's how Republican Senator Paul Boyer opened a committee hearing last week for his bill proposing the largest expansion of school vouchers in Arizona history. The civil rights language isn't new for school choice supporters around the country, but we're hearing more of it in Arizona right now. Joining us for a closer look at the legislation and its impact, Janelle Wood, founder and president of the Black Mothers Forum, an advocacy group for African American students all over the Phoenix area, and Reverend Robinson of Ebenezer Church. He is also a member of the Ball School District Governing Board here in Phoenix. We did ask Senator Boyer to join us, but he couldn't be here this morning. And welcome to you both.
Doing well, doing well.
Thank
you for having us.
Now, this bill is aimed at students in Title I school districts. They receive federal dollars for free or reduced price lunches, as well as other student services. Janelle Wood, you were at a news conference on the Capitol lawn last week advocating for this bill. Do you see school vouchers as a civil rights issue, much like the struggles of the 1960s?
I think there's some things that we need to talk about as far as civil rights. So our civil rights, I believe, can be tied to the voucher system because it does give our parents an opportunity, or according to this empowerment scholarship application, empowerment to choose where they want to have their children go. And so as we looked at civil rights and we looked at the movement, it was about making sure we had certain freedoms and equalities to pursue certain things that would better the lives of our people. And as I look at our education of our Black children and making sure they're able to get that quality education, this is one of the things that are near and dear to my heart, to make sure that our parents have every tool available to them to make sure they can do that, especially because we are focused on dealing with creating those safe, supportive learning environments for our Black children in an effort to dismantle the prison pipeline.
Robinson, are the comparisons appropriate?
They're totally not the same, and I'll explain this. So one of the reasons why we're seeing lawmakers on the other aisle using this claim, civil rights issues, it's Black History Month. This is a great way to get the Black community, get Black and brown people on their side. This is not a civil rights issue. When we talk about vouchers, vouchers have historically been a way to get white kids away from Black schools. When we look at the history, especially in Prince Edward County in Virginia, vouchers were used to take white kids away from public schools with Black kids and leaving Black kids in already struggling underfunded schools. So I don't believe this is a civil rights issue like Senator Boyer has stated. I think this is just pandering and more using our struggle and to convince our people that this is the way to go.
Janelle Wood, is it pandering by people like Senator Boyer and others in the school choice movement?
I don't know what Senator Boyer's intentions are, but I do know what my intentions are. And my intentions are to make sure that our children have what they stand in need of. And I believe because we have been fighting and we have been in the schools and we have been working with parents and we have been talking to Black parents, we've been on the ground over the past 4.5 years, and our parents have been expressing to us that they are tired of the current system that has continued to hurt their children, and they too want an opportunity to place their children in spaces where they believe they're safe and get that quality education. If their school districts that they're currently in are able to provide that, they have no problem staying in those districts. So whatever someone else's intentions are for doing what they're doing, I can't speak to that, but I can speak to the reason why I am in favor of it, because our children deserve to go wherever they need to go to get what they stand in need of. And so to me, that's fighting for their right to have the privilege and the opportunity to do that. And whatever is going on with everyone else, that's on them. My focus is letting our parents have that opportunity.
Okay. I want to pause and just let folks know what the voucher expansion would do. It would allow any student within the boundaries of a Title I school district to apply for an empowerment scholarship account. The money would help pay for a private or parochial school education. An estimated up to 60 to 70% of all Arizona school children would be eligible to use taxpayer dollars for private or parochial education. Some districts, like Scottsdale Unified, Cave Creek, and Paradise Valley, would have to pay for the students who leave their districts for private schools. Redeem Robinson, this expansion is aimed squarely at districts like yours. You are a Title I district. How concerned are you about the impact it might have?
So I'm concerned because when we look at, especially when we look at my district, let's look at where most of these private schools are. They are not in our community. So when we say that, when we're talking about expanding, uh, uh, vouchers for our community, is really not going to benefit our community because little Jimmy down the street in my district, he's not going to be able to go to some private school that's way across town. That we talking about accessibility. So it really only, like what I said, this is just a way to just more pandering from the right. This is just a way um, for the rich, the more privileged, to continue sending their kids to private schools. This is just another way for for them to, to get into these private schools. Also, let's look at in 2018, we as the voters voted um, no on on voucher expansion here in Arizona. We voted no, and so I feel like the Senator Boyers and people in the legislature are they're not listening to the voters. We have already said no on this.
And what about that, Janelle Wood? Are there concerns about a kind of resegregation where students, black and brown students whose parents might not have the initiative, they're left in school districts while some of the better students or the students of parents who maybe want more move on and the idea of neighborhood schools just goes away? Is that a good thing for the community?
I'm having a hard time hearing you, Braham, but I think you're saying if parents that are able to move their children out of the school district by using these vouchers, what would happen to the students that are left still in the district, and would they be hurt as a result of that? Is that what you're asking? I just want to make sure I'm clear.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So what I understand this particular bill to be about, that there will be opportunity for parents that want to move their children out. Transportation wise, I know Reverend Redeem said something about they, even if they want to move them, they may not get the opportunity to do that because of access or transportation. And I do believe this particular bill will allow for them now to have those transportation costs taken care of, which is the current way the empowerment scholarship account is set up now. But as far as students being left behind, so to speak, I don't believe that's going to be a problem because you have people such as ourselves still in the school districts. We are still working with our schools. One thing I want you to understand is Black Mother Forum doesn't have to be in the public school system in any way in order to be saving our children. And so certain children do very well public neighborhood school, and we're still going to be there to support that. But some students need to be placed in a smaller setting. Right now, our school, our classroom sizes are like 30 plus children in a class, and many of our children, especially our children, Black children, they have faced certain traumas at times where they need a more smaller, more focused environment, and I don't see why we can't allow them to have opportunity to do that. Now, if the school district in the neighborhood are willing to shrink down those class sizes and make sure our children have the attention that they need and have this wraparound, they need, and the care and the attention and the love and the nurture that they need, so that they can absorb the material that they're being taught, then we're all for it. But we're for making sure we save our children. I'm more focused on that than this system that is trying to keep sure it stays alive. I want our children to be able to stay alive and to be able to grow into the productive people that God gave them the right to be. So that's why I'm for anything that will help with that.
And Redeem Robinson, does the discussion of class sizes, which have grown, come back to funding by the legislature?
And actually, I'm so glad you mentioned that. And let me just say this: I totally understand why Miss Janelle Wood, and she has done an amazing job fighting for Black and Brown students across our state. And I totally understand why, why she would be in favor for this. Because let's just be real, our students are, especially Black and Brown students, they are at risk in all schools. Period. More at risk for being expelled, suspended, more discipline. But at the same time, let's not defund our public schools. We cannot afford for our schools to be more defunded. They already are defunded. So yes, this is an issue with the legislature. Um, our schools need more funding. The answer to this is not taking more money out of our schools. The answer is putting more funding in our schools, building more schools, more public schools, paying our teachers what they deserve, putting the right resources in our schools. I mean, some of our schools are in terrible shape. And the answer is not moving money from public schools to private schools and putting and draining. I mean, pretty much getting our kids out of public schools and bringing them into private schools. That's not the answer. The answer is more funding for our public schools, paying our teachers what they deserve, and just really keeping and getting our schools getting the resources that they need.
All right, going to have to end it there. Janelle Wood and Redeem Robinson, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.